So what episode is this that we're recording? This is sort of like the hello episode, but what do we
This
call
is
it?
like our intro. Like, I don't know, I was thinking like if podcasts are numbered, this is like point 0.5. Episode
point
0.5. Or, the intro.
It's the Mariah Effect.
The intro.
It's the Mariah Effect.
The intro. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Mariah Effect podcast. I'm Mariah.
And I'm Jason, also known as Mariah's cousin.
And here we are, finally recording the first ever podcast. We're going to just be talking about who we are and what's to come and why we are doing the podcast at all. To start off, I'll talk about myself. I am Mariah, and I right now live in Utah. I grew up in Colorado, and I have had like a lot of career changes over the last 8 years, trying to find out what I'm passionate about, what makes me happy, what I can do to make other people happy, because that's really important to me. The last job that I had was really revolving around the social work realm and talking to people, relating to people. I even went to school for a little bit for that, which I was really excited about. But I've kind of had to put a lot of things on pause at the moment because I'm going through my own medical journey right now with cancer. I got diagnosed in November of 2022 with acute myeloid leukemia. And so I'm doing chemotherapy right now to treat that, and that's been very difficult and really straining to my body, but my mind is still go. And so I've been trying to find different things to keep me occupied, and this is kind of the latest project for me. And it was all thanks to my cousin Jason for bringing it up.
Well, I was just telling you what I thought you wanted to do anyway, which was talk to people. You said you've been on a search for what will give people joy and help them. And so I thought that hearing from you would be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And who are you again?
I'm your cousin.
Yeah.
You want to know more than that?
Yeah, tell the people who you are.
Well, so I am, I guess work-wise, I've done a lot of different things. I used to be in finance and then became a technology entrepreneur and worked in philanthropy, done all kinds of stuff. But more recently, I do coaching and advising, and also kind of starting to do writing like you, and share more about myself too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're not like necessarily my cousin, you're more like
True.
my mom's cousin, which I think
True.
is, I was having a conversation with my best friend's mom, who I live with, and we were talking about it, and she was saying that if your parents are siblings, then you're cousins, and if your parent and that person are cousins, then you're first cousins once removed.
Yeah, that's always been so confusing to me.
Yeah, I get it when it's being told to me. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then literally I'll walk away from the conversation and be like, what was it again? So I'm really proud of myself for remembering that much. Yeah, because chemo brain takes a lot from you, and I'm already a little bit forgetful.
I don't know, you're pretty good for chemo brain.
It's a good day.
Yeah.
But why did you suggest a podcast to me? Because you're the one who originally told me that it would be a good idea.
Well, because you're an amazing storyteller and you have all kinds of stories, tons of stories. Like, you have a very textured life. You've had so many experiences. You have so much compassion and love for people. You're funny. You're joyful. You've always been a reader and a writer. And I just think it's an incredible medium for you to share more about the journey that you're on, more about who you are. And I just wanted to see more of you in the world.
Plus, it's like a great way for us to hang out, like
It's a great
actual
way to hang
time to just like sit and talk to each other.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. But so for us, this podcast is going to basically be me telling different stories of my life, which, as Jason mentioned, have been pretty crazy, pretty wild, pretty almost like a TV show, like something you would see on a TV show or in a movie happening to somebody, but doesn't really happen to real people. It's happened to me. And I have told these stories to friends, family, whatever, and I just get so much joy out of, seeing people react to these stories, because sometimes they're very funny. But upon reflecting later, after talking about the story or having some time away from the situation, it just kind of made me think and realize that maybe I was in the wrong in the situation, or maybe the person that I thought was a raving lunatic was actually somebody that was just having a hard day, or somebody that was going through something that I didn't really understand at the time. And I think that one of my biggest things that I've tried to do for most of my life is be a compassionate person and be able to recognize and understand other people and their struggles that they go through. Because it's not the Mariah show. This is called the Mariah Effect podcast, but it's not like life in general is not just all about me just because I'm the one experiencing it for myself. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I want to talk about that and be able to talk about the implications of, what might have happened in the story, and then being able to get Jason's perspective on certain things, and then hopefully that'll be able to help other people who have been through my side of things, the other person's side of things, and hopefully we can provide some resources for people who have been through tough situations that we might talk about.
Yeah, and one of the big stories in your life is now the journey you're on.
Yeah, that's true.
Why don't you give people a sense of just where you are in the process?
So right now, this is my second round of chemotherapy. I did the first round for 3 months starting January to March. And I'm now starting the second round, which this is been my first week back, and it's a little bit more intense. But with that, it's just me having to take things just like one day at a time, just because it is a very difficult thing to go through, and I think it's hard for people to understand exactly what you would think or what you have to deal with when you're talking with other people, when you are having to talk about this to other people who care and love you. It's really hard to understand what somebody's going through in general, but in this situation, it's kind of a taboo thing to talk about, is the morbid side of this all that you're going through. And right now I'm pretty positive on my outlook, but there are days when I am just wanting to dwell in the negative aspect of everything and, kind of be upset or angry about everything that's going on. And I think that's totally natural and understanding. But I'm curious,
we talk, but what is the thing that gives you the most optimism? Like, how do you find courage when you're feeling really sick, or when you just had a hard couple days? Like, what do you focus on?
I think that a lot of my time, just because right now I'm not working and I'm going through this hard thing, is that I spend a lot of time by myself. I spend a lot of time alone. And I think that's when the negative times really hit harder, I think, is when you spend a lot of time just sitting with your thoughts, especially when you're an overthinker like I am, where you just kind of think one thought that might be negative and then it spirals into this whole big idea, and then I spend the entire day upset and angry and sad and all these things. But it's the times when I'm around other people who want nothing but this positive outlook for me. Like yesterday, I was the first time in a little bit that I spent actually with other people. I live with my best friend and her family, who have kind of, taken me in as one of their own. And I spent yesterday with her siblings the entire day, and not once did I think about how sick I am, or having to deal with chemotherapy and all of that stuff. I spent a good part of yesterday just smiling, laughing, and having fun. And that is what makes me the most positive, because I think at the end of the day, like, this was such a fun day that I had with my family, and I have to continue to be around for that. So it's almost like me just being stubborn at that point of like, I am going to make it through because I want to make it through, because I have to have more days like this.
That's cool. We were having a conversation, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, but you were also kind of starting to talk to me about the life that you would like on the other side of your healing journey. Like, can you tell people a little bit about what you've been imagining and sort of what you hold in your heart for once you're healthy?
Yeah, so before I found out that I was sick, I had started back up going to school, which was really good for me because I went to culinary school when I was like 18, and was like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, not really knowing what I wanted. But I've spent my entire life really loving being around other people and talking to other people and reading. I love reading more than anything in this entire world, because it's the stories that make you, I don't know, feel like you're not alone. It makes you feel like somebody else has been through what you've been through, or it's like this crazy journey that you never could have experienced any other way than being involved. And some people watch movies and get that experience, get that feeling, but for me, reading is just so much more immersive. Like, it takes you out of it. And so in high school, well, for a while, I would do some writings and stuff, but in high school I started doing short stories, started getting more into poetry. My best friend is really into writing. That's what she wants to do with her life, is to be an author. And I just realized that, wow, I'm pretty good at this too. So I've been doing a lot of poetry and stuff during this time of having so much uncertainty around my life and everything. And so I think something that, on the other side of whatever this is, however long this is going to be, whatever, I want to be able to share my stories. I want to be able to talk about things that, other people could relate to. And I could do that this way through the podcast, but I also want to be able to do it through poetry, through short stories, things that people like me who enjoy reading will pick up and be able to feel not so isolated, not so alone.
I love that. And you're sort of not even talking about the fact you've already been paid as a writer.
Oh, that's true. I've sold some short stories and things to different websites and things like that. I wrote poetry for this opportunity to have my own poetry book, and I'm still trying to work on getting that going and out there. But yeah, I am gonna be a published author for a poem that I wrote.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Well, what else should people know about this podcast?
Let's see. Where do we see it going from here? This is a good thing to talk about. What do you think?
Tell us. You tell us. It's the Mariah Effect.
That's true.
Yeah.
I want this to be, more than anything, to be able to help anyone with anything that they might be going through. But I really hope that it gets popular because that would be really awesome to have, a group of people who, can help support us, emotionally speaking or financially speaking or anything like that, just because I think that I think it would be pretty awesome to be able to reach a lot of people. So I'm hoping that this is something that goes on for a while. We can reach other people. I can talk about my stories. We can get people to tell us their stories and that we can share and talk about on the podcast. Things like that. Maybe getting more people involved to come on to the show and tell it themselves. Like, that'd be really cool, I think. That's what I'm really hoping for.
I love that you talk about what you want like this.
Hi, editing Mariah here. Just so that everyone can understand what Jason is talking about and doing, I put my hand in front of my face to kind of like indicate that I was whispering my wants or my future aspirations. And Jason was kind of making fun of me, and so we're kind of back and forth, just like covering our mouth in like a whisper cupping motion. Thanks.
Just like, don't tell anybody.
Oh, yeah. Like I'm whispering when I'm not really whispering.
Don't tell anybody. I want a lot of followers.
I want to be famous.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
There you go. There it is. There it is.
I don't know. I don't think I could get too famous because there's really only one famous Mariah.
Oh, I think you can outdo Mariah Carey.
Whoa, okay.
Whoa.
Don't need the
Not
Lamely
overnight.
after us.
Not overnight. Okay. So what episode is this that we're recording? This is sort of like the hello episode.
Yeah,
So what
this
are we
is
gonna call
like our intro. Like, I don't know. I was thinking like if podcasts are numbered, this is like 0.5. Episode 0.5. Or, the intro. It's a little bit shorter than what our podcasts are normally going to be like. Probably going to be, I don't know, something around an hour or something like that. Just, quick commute to work.
Perfect. Okay. Well, if people catch a clip of this or the whole thing, where do you want them to follow along?
So we're gonna be posting this on Spotify. This will be on Apple Podcasts, and we will also have links to it on our website as well.
What's the domain for the website?
It's gonna be dash, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dash Mariah Effect.com is the domain.
Okay.
And so that's where people will be able to see all of our information.
We might even get like a newsletter or something.
Maybe like a weekly update, something like that, to be able to talk about. We also are going to have a Patreon that people can be able to subscribe to get exclusives. It's going to be tiered, so it's going to be anywhere from $3.99 to $7.99.
Awesome.
That people can subscribe to, and it'll just be different exclusives ranging from being able to get the preview of next week's episode a little early, to getting to see the next episode a day early, to being able to ask us questions. We're going to probably do some live podcast streams where we'll be able to, have people ask us questions like right there and then, and we'll be able to answer them as long as you're subscribe to us. And these are going to be coming out every Friday is the normal day. So if you want to get it early on Thursday, then you can sign up for the Patreon.
Sweet. And you're such a giver. You're always like concerned about what everybody else is like getting around you, right?
Yeah.
What do you want people who hear this or see this to do for you?
I think that the best thing.
And that was like a head exploding question.
Yeah, I was
right?
like, whoa.
You're such a giver. Yeah.
Wait, what? I was like, myself. What? I think that for me, the best thing will be able to, see people's stories. If you could tell me, like, if this is helping anybody at all, if, any of the resources that I offer up on the website and things help you at all, being able to know that really helps me just in general with my emotional well-being, which is really important right now because physically I am struggling, and so my emotions are everything right now. My emotional well-being and my being able to be creative is what is keeping me going right now. So that and signing up for the Patreon, if you want to donate, that would really help me out because this is all that I'm doing right now, and to be able to keep doing it, I do need to be making some money off of it. So that's basically what people could do to help out.
Awesome. Well, I feel good about episode 0.5. How about you?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty great.
Okay.
Got everything.
How are we going to sign off?
I don't know. I didn't really think about it. See you next time.
See you in episode 1.
See you for episode 1. See you next week.